well. I guess welcome back. I guess we're back. I guess this is it now. Welcome to an episode of Mental Odyssey. I don't know what this is about to be, but we want it to be... I totally forgot now. An
advice episode.
It's
an advice episode.
A new advice episode with my husband, Tomas.
That's me.
Welcome. Hello. What's the big sigh for?
I was just gonna have you wait to unmute it because I had to cough, but okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So basically, we're gonna look up relationship situations on Reddit. I guess you could talk more to it than I could, but
sure,
because you've been looking up the stuff.
Well, so I only looked up the titles and read the first paragraph or so.
You good?
Yeah, I choked on my water, dude. That's why I was telling you to hold on the unmuting. But anyway, so I only read the title in the first paragraph just to see if it was somewhat relatable to either us or people in our lives situations.
Okay.
Because then I figure, like, if someone's typing about something we have no idea what to do,
right,
then how would we give
Yeah.
any advice?
Right.
This one's a money fight.
Okay.
So I think everyone can relate to a money fight.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah. So, all right.
Take it away.
Here's the title. I'm going to read titles first, and then we'll go into the story. And I'm going to read it as it's typed out. So if there's any typos or anything like that, I might stutter. But for the most part, I'm just going to read, and then we'll go from there.
Do you think we should say who wrote it, or no?
I don't know if it matters yet.
Okay. We'll just roll
Whatever.
with it.
Yeah. All right. Without further coughing, here we go. My girlfriend, F35, makes so much more than me, M39. I'm still not used to that format. So the girl is 35 and the dude is 39.
Okay.
And they're not married. And it's causing okay, restart. My girlfriend, female 35, makes much more than I do. Fuck me.
What the fuck is happening?
My girlfriend, F35, makes much more than me, M39, and it's causing division. What do I do? My girlfriend makes about $600,000 a year, substantially more than me, at approximately $85,000 per year. Posting from a throwaway. She's in a career where you need a master's degree. My career is in a good sector with growth potential, but hard to match hers unless I also get a master's. I work 2 jobs and both are at non-profits, so the pay is less than the for-profit side. She didn't pay for school, so no debt or loans. We both have a lot of savings. Background. She wants to keep financials separate when we get married. I get people will keep money earned before marriage separate and inheritance separate, but I always thought money earned during marriage is joint and that the marriage is the coming together of everything. That's how I was brought up and my expectations. However, I'm willing to go along with her wishes and set up a joint account. But, dude, it's a lot of unnecessary periods. But even now, I think he meant, even now before marriage, it's frustrating and I'm not sure if I want to live my life like that. She's frugal to the point of it being a character defect. I am more relaxed and of the mindset that money comes and money goes, enjoy life. I think that if I have to put 100% of my income to a joint account, it's unfair for her to get to put 20% and save the rest. I said if I make more or we switch places, I'd contribute more, but she says that is easy to say and it wouldn't be true if it actually happened, whatever that means in parentheses.
I feel
Sounds to me like he knows what that means.
I feel like it's pretty typical for a dude to contribute more. I feel like that's
Sure.
pretty typical.
We'll get into that. So, the situation. I mean, unless you want to pause and talk about it for a sec. Because, like, so far what I've read is that, let me reread the section. I think that if I have to put 100% of my income into a joint account, it's unfair for her to put 20% and save the rest. I
think if you have a joint account, it's our money.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
But what he's saying is, since there's such a disparity in income, he's going to put all of his money into a joint account, all $85,000 that he makes, whereas she's only going to put 20% of her $600,000, which is about $120,000.
Right, which is still a nice
which is more
amount,
than he's contributing.
But at the same time, like, if you actually are wanting to have joint finances, because if you read it back,
but she doesn't.
She doesn't, but he does. How did we get here?
At the beginning, it says she wants to keep financials separate when we get married, completely separate. And like let's see, during joint, I'm willing. See, this is where it fucks me up with all the periods, because it says, however, I'm willing to go along with her wishes, period, and set up a joint account, period. But even before marriage, it's frustrating.
Go along with her wishes.
So it sounds like her wish is to set up a joint account, but if her thing is to keep finances separate,
yeah, that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. But either way, here's the situation. We'll get into the situation here. Normally, when joint income is so high, it's a blessing, I would think, but it's causing a lot of friction and resentments. Here are some examples. I hope these examples help explain the situation, since I have had such a hard time writing this post. Lay off the periods, bud. I want 2 kids, and she says I don't make enough for 1 kid and that I can't afford to live, let alone raise a child. That's kind of harsh. She keeps referring to it as being able to afford my kid versus our hypothetical kid. I save maybe 20% of my income, and some months I break even, but I'm still told I shouldn't go to Chipotle for lunch or even use too many paper towels because they are expensive. What is this, North Korea? Just use the paper towels, dude.
That's what you... I think it's a little bit different.
She also gets really mad when I tip. She puts in $1 for a taxi and I put 15%. I used to work for tips as a summer job, so it's important. Okay.
It is.
It is. If you've ever worked a job like that, you generally tip higher. That's just how it goes. Anyways.
At least 15.
She's also very against the man making less, that she wants to split everything 50-50, so what I put in, she puts in, not a penny more, as a way to hammer home this feeling. Sounds like this dude is really heated about this subject. So she is so very, in capital letters, against the man making less that she wants to split everything 50-50. Right.
Why is she
that's what I'm thinking. But hold on. Let's just keep rolling and see what we got. She keeps saying I need to look for higher paying jobs and I should apply to hundreds a day like the house is on fire. I do apply just as I have time. I have a weekday job at a nonprofit as well as my weekend job. My therapist says I have quality, respectful employment and I should be proud of what I do. Plus, I work 2 jobs, so I'm not sitting around being lazy. She said the man should be the provider. Bro, you make $600,000 a year.
Yeah, you need to be hitting way higher if that's...
You're punching well below the weight class if that's what you want.
If you're requiring that of your man, why are you with this guy?
Sounds like she's wasting this dude's time, honestly.
Like,
and
what are they getting out of
Continuing. Sorry.
Hold on,
we'll get
real
to
quick. Will you like back off the mic a tiny bit? Like just push it out a little bit.
Yeah, there.
Just talk for a sec. I'll cut it out.
I'll repeat the last one. My therapist says I have quality, respectful employment, and I should be proud of what I do. If you fucking say a little bit further away.
I think that's fine.
All right, good. Because I moved it exactly to where it was.
Here?
Yeah.
It's a little bit farther off.
Is this a good...
It's just like the P's are like...
The
yeah. Like if you're in the car, it'll be fine. But if it's in the headphones, it'll probably be a little abrasive.
All right. Well, we got to get one of those little like poof balls.
Yeah, we do.
All right. So, she wants to buy the house so it's in her name and not both our names, and I pay the taxes. But in this scenario, I'm not building any equity, correct? When I suggest splitting the mortgage 50-50 and both being on the deed, she says she wants to buy I think he meant $1 million, but it says 1 millimeter house. It's a tiny house, dude. A $1 million house out of my price range, which is $700,000. When I bring up the $700,000 house, she says she refuses to live in a poor area. So then the only option is to each own a different percentage of the house, 60-40. I pay 40% and she pays 60%, but she says that isn't fair to her because she is taking more risk. But I said you also get more of the upside by owning 60% or whatever the split ends up being when we sell the house. It's like you invest more in the asset and you get more ROI when we sell the house. Yeah. The house thing is a standoff, the root of the problem. The income difference is the real point of resentment for her because she uses terms like, I refuse to be the breadwinner. Then why did you hustle so hard, dude?
Right.
She keeps, from what this guy is saying.
And why did you bat so low? Why did you hustle so hard and bat so low?
She must have a real self-confidence issue.
Why would you settle for a dude? Like, if it's that important.
Right. Like, if
like
it's
stop making this guy feel like shit about himself for only making $85,000.
She says she wants, he's not interested in doing.
Right.
He's like, I'm cool where I'm at.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like they're right to get
Live
married.
within your means,
Advice later. I refuse to be the breadwinner, etc. I said that couples I know where both partners work, it is never the same income. Unless you have the same job at the same company with the same benefits, it will be different. For example, my job puts 10% of my salary into a 401(b). I don't know what that is. And I have great insurance. Her job makes a lot more, but benefits are less. I feel emasculated and worthless and like my jobs don't matter. There is more to marriage than money. Who cooks? Who takes care of the kids? Who does other stuff around the house? How can a marriage be defined by the take-home pay? I know people who are miserable and work all the time, and it's toxic. But perhaps to her point, I'm not making enough in this world of high-cost living. We also live in a high-cost blue state. I should make more, and I'm applying to 125,000 pay range jobs, but happy to do it slowly and not rush out of a job I like. Some other context. She also thinks she is poor, and her parents, while very well off, have 10 plus million, are the same way. They will take all the napkins and plastic forks from a restaurant or the sugar packets from a diner, or if there is a cream and half and half, bring cups and take it all, just to save money on sugar napkins and stuff. I mean, you don't get that kind of scratch without cutting a few corners, I guess. But at some point, you got to ease off the gas. There's being intentional on spending and cost conscious, but also frugal to the point of concern. People can exist at both ends of the spectrum. I feel like they are poor, like anorexic people think they are fat. I want to have kids and figure out the cost as we go. I mean, college isn't for 20 years. Should I adapt to her ultra frugality and try to make more money, or is this relationship something that isn't going to work due to the income difference? Like I said, I thought it would be a blessing if joint income is so high. Instead, it's just a cluster of fighting, anger, and resentments on all sides. We are seeing a couple therapist for the first time today, so any advice on what to bring up? Is this all a control thing? Thank you for my advice. Or for any advice.
Can I go first?
You can go first after I make one comment.
Okay.
That couples therapist isn't going to help you.
Not at all.
Nope. You are not compatible, my man.
No, like if there was any indication in that posting at all that there was some leeway in the way that she felt about things, I'd be like, well, communicate about it. Have a conversation, get to some common ground about what is acceptable, you know? I think a percentage of each person gets a certain percentage to go and fuck around with of their paycheck, right? But it's like the same percent. Not like 100% and 20%, even though her 20% is like way more than his 100%. I feel like that shouldn't matter. But it does. Like it sounds like it very strictly does. There's no leeway. There's no room. So why are you there?
I'm just going to assume that he's over-exaggerating, he or she, he, right? He said him, he's a male. I'm going to assume that he's over-exaggerating a little bit because he's heated and a little bitter about the subject, right? First of all, I think he asked the wrong questions at the end. Like, is this not going to work because of the income disparity? Bro, that's not the problem. Like, let's take the bitterness out and look at the facts. She's extremely frugal to the point where it bothers him. Regardless of income level, she's that frugal. Her parents are the same way, which means that it's not likely to change anytime soon because the example that she had growing up was frugality. And statistically, the number one cause of divorce in America is money fights. So, I forgot where it was. Oh, right. And when you enter a marriage, it is equal partnership, regardless of the disparity.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter who makes more. It doesn't matter who's got more assets.
Yeah.
If it's about an asset thing, then you sign a prenup.
Right.
But other than that, afterwards, it's all 50-50.
Right.
So.
And at the same time, like, I can understand if you're like a figure, right? Like, let's just say that this person that's making, we don't know what she does for work. That's a lot of fucking money.
I assume something medicinal, something in the medical field.
Hopefully. We have no idea who that is, right? Sure. And for all we know, she could be coming with like a following, right? Like people actually know who she is. Or maybe she has like money from family or something. Like we don't know where this money is coming from.
How does he know her parents have $10 million?
What? Was that in there?
Yeah, he said her parents have 10 plus million.
Okay,
and when he was talking about the sugar packets and stuff. Well, I don't know. See, we're missing a little bit of context here. Yeah. But either way, like the way that he was talking about the situation, especially earlier, it sounded like they haven't even talked about house responsibilities. Right. They haven't talked about children responsibilities.
Right. I don't think they're in a place to be joining incomes.
No, they are far away from being well,
they probably
that's not true. You can get married anytime you want, but having a successful marriage is a bit different.
With that big of a difference in pay, I think it would be better to wait till marriage to have like fully joint incomes.
I don't think they should get married.
No, I don't think so either.
I think that the way she is so ingrained in her mind, and they both bother each other. Like his habits bother her and her habits bother him. I don't know why you're in that relationship, dude.
Right.
You don't have to break up with hate. You can just be like, hey, we're not compatible. It doesn't really matter what your income level is. I don't vibe with you.
Yeah.
You don't have to hate the person you break up with every single time.
I think that he is going to continue to feel less than because she wants someone different. Mm-hmm. And he can't be someone different. He doesn't have the drive to be someone different. If you have the drive to make $85,000 a year,
it wasn't even that. It was his job that he liked. He liked working for the nonprofit.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you are okay with living that kind of a lifestyle, nobody else should make you feel inferior.
Sure.
For not making more money.
And like,
so why would you be with somebody that is going to continuously make you feel some type of way?
Emasculated, as you put it.
Yeah.
Like, that is a huge thing, too. I mean, you can call it whatever you want, ego or whatever it is, but at the end of the day, his own partner is making him feel less than.
Right.
And eventually that's going to put very catastrophic strain on the relationship, whether it be marriage or not. But on top of that, like, it doesn't sound like she's the guy she wants.
Right.
It doesn't sound like she's the woman that he wants, and eventually they'll stray from each other, money aside. Like, that's going to cause other issues.
At the same time, though, like, maybe he finds the time, does the master's degree thing, right? Like, if she could hold down the fort, let him do the whole schooling thing, right? Because it probably wouldn't cost that much extra for her to just, like, help him become the asset that she wants him to be, if that's something that he's interested in.
Yeah, they didn't
right?
say anything about that. Like, hey, have you talked to her about building you up?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
she
hey,
wants.
I want to be the person that you want me. Like, I want to level up to that. Up until now, I haven't known how to think that big, right? I haven't seen it personally in my life. I would like to have a master's degree that helps. Like, I would like to match you. I would like to match your income,
You don't
or
just
at
get
least level
gifted
up.
the perfect partner right off the bat.
If you can double your income with a master's degree, if he's bringing in $160,000, it's not anywhere close to where she wants it to be, which is higher than her pay. But at the same time, it's a bit.
She's got pretty high standards. If she thinks a $700,000 neighborhood is a poor neighborhood, that's very, very high standards.
Yeah.
And so even if you do build yourself up to a point, is she just going to keep raising the bar?
Right. Like, is this someone who is willing to be there for you and support you and help bring you up to the caliber that she wants you to be because you want that for yourself?
Sure.
That's a different story than her being like, you're not good enough. This little life that you want for yourself is not good enough for me. Like, that's a whole different energy, and get the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I just don't think they're compatible. I think
from the context that we have, I agree.
Yeah.
Not compatible. They want very different things from life.
Like, just it's not worth the bitterness and the resentment and on either one of them, because eventually that's going to take a very serious toll.
Yeah.
And then you've pretty much just wasted your time.
Yeah. Exactly.
And if she really, it doesn't sound like she's willing to compromise, and if she really isn't willing to compromise, there's no reason to marry.
You guys are wasting your time.
Marriage is all about compromise.
Break up amicably and go find those people that, like, nobody's getting any younger.
Nope.
Don't waste your time in a relationship that's not feeding you like that.
Sure. I agree. Well,
yeah.
All right.
Next one.
All right.
What is the title? I'm worried.
I appreciate his lack of vulgarity. He could have definitely used some vulgar words here. Do you All right, I'll read the title, then we can decide if we want to give advice on this or not. It's pretty funny though. Okay. I'm going to read it exactly as it says. I'm not changing any words. I don't care about vulgarity. I'd use it if it was here. And it's going to be a bit goofy. You ready? I, male 37, can often smell my girlfriend's F-35 butt during sex in doggy. It's been raised, but the situation remains the same. What am I to make of this? No. It's too goofy. We'll
I appreciate the title. I very much appreciate the title. I don't know if I want to give advice on that.
I think we should read it later just to see what it says.
Yeah, we should.
All right. My boyfriend, 28 male, didn't buy me, 29 female, a boba. Dude, first world problems. How do I explain to him that I feel this is yet another sign in a pattern of being inconsiderate?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
I was hooked by that title too. Because at first I was like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
A boba.
A boba. But then I read the rest.
Like, okay.
Yeah. So, first of all, just based on the title, I'd say just tell him the second half of that. Like, tell him that it's a sign and pattern of being inconsiderate. Yeah. Anyways, on to the story. Okay, so it's not just boba. Let me preface it with that. It's a million little things and some way bigger ones. We moved in together 6 months ago. Things are normally chill. We get along. We can hang. Oh, dude, the periods, man. This is bananas. However, I feel like he doesn't think of me. I ask him to do the dishes. He will leave them for 3 or 4 days molding in the sink until finally my roommate or I do it because it's nasty and has to be done. There's no forks. I will ask him over and over again, and he just won't do it. I work from home, and he works outside of the house, so I have more wiggle room to do chores, so I do more chores. I figure I would compensate by pulling more weight in another area. For instance, he makes 3 times the salary that I do. 3 times! But he wants me to pay 50-50 on our date. Another money problem. Another income thing. That's weird. He wants me to pay 50-50 on our dates, which would be fine if I didn't buy and cook most of our at-home meals and also do a majority of the chores. That's
Wait, just
not
to
fair.
double check, they're married or they're just living together?
Nope. Boyfriend, girlfriend living together.
Okay.
Yep.
A cohabitation.
Cohabitation. And they have a roommate in the mix.
Oh.
What I picked up so far. Where was I? That's not fair. That's not 50-50. He also doesn't pay any of my rent or bills. Okay, I'm going to keep reading. When I brought this up to him for the first time, he didn't believe that I did that much for him. He thought that we did equal chores and food buying. I had to start sending him literal receipts and have him compare each of our contributions. I also started sending him lists of things I did every day so that he would know what I had done, and I had records too. Okay, it's not really good to keep score like that, but
I kind of got sidetracked watching you. Can you back up?
did you?
Yeah.
Okay. How far?
Just maybe 3 lines.
Okay. He thought we did equal chores and food buying. I had to start sending him literal receipts and have him compare each of our contributions. I also started sending him lists of things I did every day so that he would know what I had done, and I had records too. I thought maybe he really didn't know, and maybe he would change his attitude and pick up a little slack in other areas, but nope. He still wants to go halvesies with money, and does more chores now, but certainly not half. For example, he put the laundry in the wash and then asked me to do the folding, the most labor-intensive part of the laundry. I get it. Folding laundry pisses me off, dude. I hate folding that laundry. I'll do the dishes all day long, but I will not fold the laundry. Even though you just put it on a hanger, nope.
It's so true because I think maybe 1 or 2 times in our entire relationship have you put the laundry away.
Yeah. But I'll throw it in the washer and dryer.
Yeah.
And then I got to wait 2 to 3 business days for it to get done. But it's
3.
okay because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to complain about the time frame all the time. Every now and then I get a little upset.
It would be in a pile on a chair that you would have to go through, smell checking everything to make sure.
Oh, that's not true.
Dirty.
The dirty ones went on the floor. The clean ones are on the chair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'm not a savage. I had a laundry basket. All right, moving on. And he will buy groceries and cook, but he makes maybe 1 meal for my 4, and he will get takeout for us at least once a week, which I know is more expensive, but that's the cost of not putting the labor in to cook it yourself. Since I put my labor in for my food and he didn't, it's 1 meal of mine is equal to 1 meal of his, in my opinion. But he says since takeout costs more money, it counts as multiple of my home-cooked meals, which I don't think is fair. I don't either.
No.
It takes a lot to cook at home.
Yeah.
If you're prepping all the vegetables and stuff, it's quite labor-intensive. Anyways, hey, that's how she kicked it off. I recently bought a lot of groceries. I cooked meals, and he ate 5 of them. I also drank all of my bottle of alcohol and the sodas and juice I bought. Then he asked me out to boba. The day after I cooked him dinner and he finished off my alcohol. He also drank all of my bottle of alcohol and the sodas and juice that I bought. Sorry. Then he asked me out to boba. The day after I cooked him dinner and he finished off my alcohol and he had me pay for my own boba. It was $6. And when he bought his own, he didn't tip. This man makes 6 figures. I'm feeding him with the food I bought using food stamps. Okay. And he invited me on a date and made me pay after eating my food and drinking my drinks. I don't know how to explain to him that him not paying for a boba pissed me off. I just don't know how to explain why I feel like this, and it's just another sign on the highway of consistent disrespect. Every time I try to explain this to him, his solution is to just stop doing things for each other. But in my opinion, that's not a partnership. That's a bad roommate who wants sex. My other roommate who travels for work and has maybe been at home half of the time my boyfriend has cleaned the kitchen more time than my boyfriend has by a significant amount. And on top of that, I had to break to grab coffee in between work sessions. I told him that I had 3 minutes before I had to go back. He chose right then to ask me why I was upset with him. Like I just told you, I have 3 minutes before returning to work. Why would he ask me a serious question and expect an answer right then? Like I just told you, I'm on a time crunch. I feel like this kind of thing happens a lot. It's small, it's subtle, but it's also big. I just don't think he considers others. Edit. We live in a 3-bedroom and we each pay our respective rooms splitwise. Yes, we each have our own rooms. I like my girly space and he snores. We split utilities evenly. I do not pay for his rent. He does not pay for mine. Even L. Oh, okay, I don't know what that means. I confronted him.
Like a loss.
I think so, but
L.
I don't know. He does not pay for mine, period, even, period, L. Super cryptic. I confronted him. He told me he never asked me to fold the laundry and that I just did that on my own. When I insisted he did say that, his reply was, well, that doesn't seem like something I do. Next, he said I'm trying to hurt him by implying he has an alcohol problem, that he, in fact, did take care of the dishes. So I showed him the dirty dishes just sitting there, and I said, okay, if I didn't do it, I meant to. I do all these other things, but you're mad about the one thing I forgot. Y'all, I wish I was making this up. This is literally gaslighting, isn't it? I showed him the dirty dishes, and he has a stomach to say if he didn't do it. After that, he
stuck out to me as well.
After he started talking about how I've hurt him too before, and when I said we can talk about that after we address this, he refused to speak to me anymore. And then she did one of these.
Leave.
With emojis. If anyone is looking for a roommate, I cook and clean.
They're young.
Yeah, let me roll back up to their ages.
If they're not
28 and 29. Wow. That's older than I was expecting.
That's like some like 19-year-old shit.
Okay.
Like I totally agree with the roommate comment. Like a bad roommate that wants sex.
I do too.
Like that is what I was thinking before that comment happened. I'm like, what is the difference between you guys being,
especially after they said they have separate rooms now,
and being roommates? Like roommates split bills.
Yep.
50-50 up the middle. Like I don't think that splitting stuff like that in a relationship is healthy from my perspective. This is just my opinion. I don't think that it's healthy to split stuff like that because it creates that your money, my money situation.
Yep.
And the tit for tat that they're playing. And
they're keeping score.
That keeping score will destroy a relationship. Yep. It will absolutely destroy it. And I do feel like it's a sign of gaslighting.
Like when I told you, yes, I agree. And when I told you I don't fold the laundry, you're like, okay, well then just put it in. I'm like, yeah. I can do that.
Yeah.
And then I pick up more slack on the dishes because you don't like doing the dishes.
Yeah,
I don't really care. It's kind of nice.
I actually don't mind doing the dishes here because we actually have like big sinks.
Yeah. Better than the apartment.
It's way better than the apartment.
It's not about us though. Let's get back to these crazy assholes.
Yeah.
So, I had some. I think it's weird that they have 2 separate rooms. However, they pretty much are splitting it 50-50 because he's paying for his room, she's paying for hers. And if they were to just pay 50-50 of each of their rooms, it would come out the same anyway. So the fact that they're just paying for their own rooms, fine. But I think you need to have a conversation on whether or not you're in a relationship. But she
I
did say
agree.
that she agrees. She likes her girly room and he snores, and she doesn't like
Right.
that.
But like he snores, he keeps score, he's gaslighting you.
Oh, he wasn't keeping
Like,
score. She was.
yeah, but
Because
he was playing tit for tat with her.
I don't know if he was.
Read the last. There was a
Like,
part in there
well, she's
where
the
he
one
was
that
like,
had to
"Well,
provide
you
receipts.
don't,
Well,
you don't fucking."
yes, in that argument, yes, but that was after she had already started keeping score because she felt like there was an imbalance.
Right.
And like,
But she also said that she tried explaining it to him multiple times and
Sure,
he
yep.
didn't understand, which means that he was probably getting defensive in those situations.
Probably.
Is what I would assume.
like here's the thing. If you're dating, I don't mind 50-50 because
Right.
you're dating.
Right.
Once you're in a relationship, I mean, to each their own. If you still want to go 50-50, you can go 50-50. Just communicate that. Whatever.
Right.
That's how you want to roll.
Right.
But if she feels so badly that she's having to keep score about everything else and he's not putting it down for a second and sounds like he's getting defensive, like now you're going to reach a point where she's going to start being resentful because she feels like she's carrying more than her weight.
Right.
Now, she works from home. That doesn't always mean she's available for housework
No.
because she's working
Yeah.
from home.
You have to make sure that there's not like a boundary crossed in the sense of like the free time that she has.
Right. And now
It's
she
still a
said-
full-time job.
She said that he makes 6 figures.
Right.
So obviously money is important to him. He's going 50-50. Obviously money is important to him. And that's fine. And I can definitely empathize with the fact that he leaves the house, goes to work, comes home, and doesn't have the energy to do stuff.
Yeah, especially
ins-
right now.
Instead of admitting that, like, that's funny. Instead of admitting that, then he gets defensive. And that's not conducive for a relationship.
Yeah.
So as far as like her, how do I tell him this? It's like when we watch Love is Blind or those other shows when they're like the cutaways give us more context than they're giving the other person.
Right.
I'm like, if you
right.
were to just treat the other person like a cutaway and say what you want to say as if that person wasn't there,
Right.
that person would be like, oh, that's how you think. Okay, now
Mhm.
it makes a little bit more sense to me, or they'd get pissed.
Right.
But either way, like, just say those very things. However, she did say in there that she told him multiple times, and I'm not a fan of ultimatums. I don't think they really are healthy.
no.
However, if I were in her shoes, I would give an ultimatum of either you listen to me because I'm building some serious resentment and I don't want to, or we're going to have a larger problem.
Right.
And
I would even come on a little bit softer and just be like, hey, this whole thing is not working. Like the tit for tat, like it very much feels like a roommate situation. You share bills like this with a roommate.
okay, yeah.
You know, I'm not interested in having just a roommate. I'm interested in having like a romantic relationship, and if that's not what this is going to be, I don't think that's a good idea to like keep going.
Better than my idea.
Yeah. Cuz then it's like no harm no foul type thing. It's like
Sure.
it just didn't work out. You don't have to blow shit up to end a relationship. It doesn't have to be like crazy.
Yeah, my way would have blown it up.
Yeah, you
100%.
like if it doesn't go well, bringing it up in that sense where it's like, dude, this is not what I'm after. And like not trying to belittle the other person, but like these are my needs. And if my needs can't be met by you and you're not willing to adjust yourself in a way that would help meet my needs,
Sure.
there's probably somebody out there that will.
It sounds like she was willing to adjust a little bit.
Right.
Again, there's two sides of the story, and there's truth is usually in between.
Right.
But yeah, it's good advice.
Yeah.
Next one.
Yeah, let's do one more quick one. Because I'm getting tired. I could
All
got
right.
work in the
Well,
morning.
there is unless you want to cover the butt smell, then we only have one more.
Okay.
My 49 female husband, 54 male, has been neglecting our daughters ever since our son was born. When my husband and I got married 24 years ago, I remember him saying, if our first child is a boy, we're done having children because it's all I need. My
Hold
husband,
on real quick. Tell me their ages again.
she's 49. The poster is 49, and her husband is 54.
Okay.
My husband was a very good basketball player in high school and college, so I understood why he would prefer a son. Why he would have preferred a son. Sorry. We now have 5 daughters. Good Lord. 5 daughters and 1 son. And the only reason I had more than 3 kids was because he could very easily financially afford it and by his own income alone. And during that time we were starting our new family, it seemed like he made an active effort to be the most supportive, perfect, and loving husband. Our daughters are between the ages of 20 and 9, with our son being the youngest at 6. I noticed pretty much, really? Huh? She had a kid in her mid-40s, and he was almost 50.
Yeah, 14-year spread. That's fucking...
That's a big spread.
Yeah.
Where was I? Youngest at 6. I noticed pretty much immediately after our son was born that my husband started to almost act like our daughters barely existed. His effort of being the supportive, engaged, and active father/husband shifted from our daughters and went 100% to our son. And now I know for a fact that our daughters also noticed it. Ooh. Our 17-year-old daughter had a conversation with me in private in which she got emotional and told me how my husband has treated her like a stranger ever since our son was born, never even asks about her, and she feels abandoned.
Oof.
Apparently our other daughters feel the same way and have been talking about it with each other. Oh, God. If you all feel the same way and then you just validate each other and you get going in that circle.
This feels a little close to home. Keep going.
I guess I might have been in denial because a part of me honestly thought that my husband had just become very engaged for our son, especially early child basketball, etc. But now I realize it's affecting all of our daughters in a very negative way. I mentioned what our daughter had told me to my husband, and he blew it off as her being an emotional teenager. This is a situation I don't even know how to begin to get a handle on. Does anyone know where I should even start?
Is that the end?
That's the end.
I do. I actually do, because I was a teenager. Like, I actually feel like I can relate to this.
That's why I picked it.
And I feel like her as an adult female now, who once was a teenager, should be standing up to her husband and being like, it may seem insignificant to you, right? But these are like big feelings. Like, if you think about it, right, your parent is the most important person to you, right? Up until like, I would say probably like early teenage years, right?
I think there's a period in your teenage years where you kind of get sick of your parents and they're no longer the most important people to you, and then you come back around sometime in your mid-20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. So it's like, it's a natural, that time is kind of a natural time for them to feel that way.
Which is why she blew her off as an emotional teenager.
But also, that's why you shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the capacity that they have right now. That is exactly how you should expect them to be acting, and not in a way of like, oh, that's just who they are. But it's like, oh, she's at that stage. She's feeling that way. I would like to reassure her, like reassure that kid that like, you know what, I do care. But it also sounds like this dude has just been waiting for a son the whole time.
Yep.
Being like disappointed at every girl. And there were 5 of them.
He was disappointed until the son was born.
Until the son was born. Like, he got what he wanted.
I got what I want. Yeah.
Which is really sad. That's really sad to hear. That like, I mean, the other thing is that they're all this from this, like he's treating the girls like they're stepkids and they're his kids, right? They're all from
They're
him.
all his, all 6.
Crazy.
You know what's whack? I can see my mom doing the other thing the other way around, because she always said she wanted a little girl, and she ended up getting 4 boys. We all got put in a patchwork dress, but that wasn't good enough. I think it stuck with one of them a little bit, but you know which one you are.
Fuck.
Dude, I'm gonna get lit up in the group chat later. But I think that it's also a little different the other way around, because I mean, maybe not, because she wanted a girl, this guy wanted a boy, and that's
Right.
very special to them,
Right.
right? I don't think my mom would have just blown us off completely. I think she would have treated the girl a little more special than she treated us, and also that's the only girl out of 4 boys.
Right.
So,
Right.
I get it. Especially if we had the same spread where we were older, we can kind of self-regulate, especially the way we
Right.
were raised. It came to a point where we would have been all right.
I imagine it's easier to raise children of around the same age.
Probably. 'Cause
Versus
it's also
that
over
big
with
of
around
a
the same time.
right, like a 14-year age gap. You're dealing with teenagehood and 6-year, where they're understanding things and asking questions and wanting to know why everything is the way that it is. And
I think it's cool that way though, because then the younger siblings can pick up on what the older siblings do, and
if they're
mentality
encouraged
that
to
thing.
communicate like that.
True.
That's the thing, is that if the teenager is in, I'm imagining from my experience that this teenager probably doesn't spend a lot of time at home, and if they do, it's forced. That's what I'm imagining. Because it's the attention is more on the other kid and his existence. So if you're not going to pay attention to me, I might as well be out of the house. And the dad might even just be like, they don't need me the way that this kid does.
Yeah.
They don't need me anymore. They're at that place where they're just out of the house, happy to be with their friends.
However, the 17-year-old here that came to the mom first, on top of the usual feeling from older siblings that the baby gets all the attention, now I don't know if for the daughters, it wasn't specified. I don't know if the daughters knew their dad always wanted a son, but if he wanted it that bad, I'm sure they did. And on top of the natural, the baby of the family gets all the attention, now you have to compete with the fact that it's dad's favorite gender.
Right.
And it's dad's wish come true. So it just compounds that feeling. And then if all the other daughters are in the same boat, compounding the feeling even further, yeah.
I feel like the healthiest way for this to be dealt with is for there to be an open conversation where it's hey, I'm not saying any of these things to hurt your feelings. I'm saying them because it's the truth. Our daughters feel like they aren't loved by you. They feel like they're not cared for by you. They feel like they're insignificant in comparison to our son,
And you have made them feel that way.
Yes. Yeah, and your actions are what made them feel that way.
Yeah. I think that she should have a conversation with him in private.
Right.
And hopefully, if he's... Because it sounds like he knows how to be a husband and a father. And he knows how to communicate. They've had 24 years of a good marriage.
Yeah.
And it's not even the marriage that's at risk right now. It's the fact that he's treating their son special. So,
right.
I think there's a possibility that if she were to have that conversation, exactly like you were saying, with him first, and then he's like, oh, my bad, I messed up, I got to talk to those kids or whatever it is, then you have kind of a family meeting. I don't know if the son should be there or not, only for the fact that it's not really, it's about him, but it's not.
Right.
If that makes sense. It's because of him, not about him.
Right.
And I also don't want to isolate him and make him think he's not part of the family, but at the same time, he's not the one who's hurt.
Right. But also, I don't think that you need to be, I don't think that the solution is to do less with the son.
No.
I don't think that's the solution at
No,
all.
it is not.
I think the solution is to like, hey, I am so sorry that I got caught up. I was really excited about having a boy because it's somebody that I could relate to. I feel very unsure as to how to navigate female teenagehood. I don't know how to do it. It's weird to me. Whereas, like,
why did he have 5 of them?
Right. But at the same time, if he was going after a girl, or sorry, if he was going after a boy each time, it's like there could be that fear there of like, I know how to coach a boy along. I know how to tell them how to get through life or whatever. I don't know how to do it with a girl, especially at this stage. Like, teenagehood looks really bad on, like, it can be pretty rough.
I was talking to one of my coworkers about this because I was just asking him, like, you got any kids? Like, what's the mix or whatever? And he's got 2 daughters and 1 son.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, I don't want daughters. I don't know how to handle them. Like, I am the oldest of 4 boys. And at some point or another, I had to babysit those boys. And it's a bit different of a dynamic because I was their sibling and not their father. But
Right.
at the same time, I know what it takes to raise up a boy. I don't know what that looks like with a girl.
Right.
And it scares the daylights out of me.
Right.
And he was like, honestly, it's easier than raising a boy because they're all hugs and kisses and I love you, daddy, and stuff like that. And he's like, it just melts my heart every time. And I was like, you know what? I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, boys are a bit rambunctious.
Yeah.
So, they both come with pros and cons.
But this guy is probably in the stage where his daughter is like, I hate you. Like it's probably at that stage where like that has been an argument that happened
I mean, from the conversation that she was saying her daughter had with her, it doesn't sound like that. It's the I hate you. It's the, hey, I don't think dad loves me anymore.
Right.
Which is way worse.
It is way worse. It fucking
Way
hurts.
worse.
That shit hurts my soul.
Right.
I connect with that shit and it hurts.
Yeah, dude. And if all 5 of his daughters feel the same way,
Mm-hmm.
I only hope that this man can realize that he made a bit of a mistake neglecting his daughters.
Right.
Because
And
again, like you
change it.
said, it's not about doing less for the son.
Yeah.
Just have a conversation with your daughters. Let them know they haven't been left behind. Do things with them.
Yeah.
Prioritize some time with them, maybe
Right.
individually, together.
Ask them if
Something.
they want to go to the mall.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, he did say she said they can financially support that.
Yeah.
Just all 5 of them going into Hot Topic. Yeah.
You imagined them as those kinds of people.
Who is it?
I
It's
was
Hot
thinking
Topic.
like Forever 21. I feel like everyone kind of has to stop in a Hot Topic, but
I guess, yeah, Forever 21's probably more.
there's some of those.
Or the Van store or
Right.
something. Yeah.
Zoomy
Maybe it's just
stickers.
because I grew up going into Hot Topic.
Same.
But it's different now. That's we can talk about that off the podcast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my advice to that person would be just tell them straight up. Like I'm a straightforward kind of person.
Right.
I don't mind the conflict. I just hope that it gets us somewhere. I don't like fighting just to fight.
Right.
So I
And
hope that she
stopping
can
like
reason with him.
at a bad point, stopping at like, well, and he was being an ignorant. No. Keep pushing past that. Push past that.
Yeah.
At some point there's like a vulnerable boy in there. It's true.
I know. I get the context. It just sounds bad out of context.
Like somewhere in there, there's somebody
Yeah.
that wants to feel understood and like feel comfortable being vulnerable and
Like,
be a good
go
dad.
to his side for a second. Like, he was raised a certain way by his dad, and he wants to provide a certain lifestyle for his son. You can empathize with that.
Right.
And again, it's not about doing less.
Yeah.
And I think if she were to tell him that, like, I don't want you to do less for him. Like, I want you to have your dream.
Yeah.
Just don't neglect the other 5 that you had already.
Right. Yeah. They still need their dad
Sure.
now more than ever.
Yeah. Especially the
Like,
20-year-old, she's getting into adulthood. She's going to need some guidance, dude.
I feel like all of them are at a really high risk. Like what I was saying earlier, they're all at a really high risk of running to boys for physical affection. Because if they're not getting it from their dad, like the kisses and cuddles like you were talking about with your coworker, right?
Uh-huh.
Like that is a lot of what, like how girls feel, as long as they're allowed a safe place to feel that while they're growing up, Obviously that can get turned off if that's abused, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say that word, but
it's your podcast. You can do what you want.
True.
I made a North Korea joke earlier. That'll get you canceled before what you just said.
But like, if you've had a healthy outlet for that,
Yeah.
you're way better off. You don't have to go and run to boys to feel that way. You don't get pushed into a situation where it's like, well, at least somebody's like physically like affectionate towards me.
Well, it sounds like he was the affectionate father, the guiding and loving father that he should have been up until the son was there. Now it's not like he's hating them. He's just not there.
It's just not there.
Yeah.
Which means that they're all very likely to like.
I want to know the side effects side effects on the 9-year-old. Because if the son is 6 and the youngest daughter's 9, that means she was 3, and she's had 6 years of that neglect. So she was at an age where she couldn't understand it. So maybe she just thinks that's who he is.
Yeah, she doesn't know anything different, and I don't know which one is worse.
I don't either.
Knowing the guy and then not having him available, or never knowing. I would
say having it and then losing it is far worse, because then you're never going to stop craving who they were.
Right. Yeah. You can't miss what you don't have.
I think you and I had this conversation before too.
Yes.
On the way our parents were. Like it is what it is. Like I have parents now, which is nice.
Yeah.
And you had it and then didn't.
Right.
And I'd say you're in a worse boat than me, dude.
Yeah.
You were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
those are good emails. Thanks, or not emails.
Good posts.
Those are good posts.
Yeah. Can we do the butt one just for fun real quick?
Terry.
Come on.
I have to work. It's almost 11.
All right, we'll make it quick. Come on. We got to do it.
Oh, my God.
We got to do it. It's so goofy.
It might not make it on the podcast, so we'll see.
That's okay. We're doing it last. All right. Go to my saved here. I'm not going to read the title again. My girlfriend and I have been together for over a decade, but this has always been a problem. Dude, wow.
That's a long time.
10 years of butt smell, dude. If we have sex and I'm behind her, then I can... We got to leave this at the podcast, dude. That I can smell her ass.
Now he says ass. I'm glad it's not off limits.
He kept it off the title. It basically smells like she's... Oh, my God, dude. Oh. What? Oh, this is the definition of toilet humor. It basically smells like she's been to a toilet at some point and hasn't cleaned herself very well. There's nothing to see, it's just the smell. But it's unmissable and present without my face being anywhere near there. It's rare that this isn't the case. When it happens, it takes me completely out of the moment. It actively upsets me, to be honest, but I play it down generally because I love her. I don't want to upset her, and I do want a sexual connection with her. That much said, the matter has been raised. On some of these occasions, she noticed something's up, or I've simply managed to sensitively raise it. Her response has always been good, a little embarrassment, naturally. That's in parentheses, that was not me. But acceptance and willingness to go and clean herself to some degree there and then. But in the long term, the issue just doesn't seem to change. It's like she doesn't gather that, even though this has come up multiple times, there's a trend here. She doesn't have generally bad personal hygiene. Other parts of her body don't smell, and she's not generally stinky or anything. However, she's not a daily shower person, and I'm sure that has at least something to do with the issue. She showers every 2 to 3 days. I can only imagine that she's not cleaning herself well in between. I shower daily, and I'm quite conscious of my own personal hygiene. At this stage, I'm really just unsure what to either make of it or what to do about it. We've both had numerous previous partners. Presumably none of her prior sexual partners have ever raised it. Is this my problem? I've never experienced this with any other woman, but is it actually quite normal? If not, then how do I even approach this now at this stage? When we first got together, I expressed some discomfort at her only showering every few days, and it didn't go down well. I have no idea how to speak to her or how she needs to do a better job of cleaning her butt as part of, as part of her everyday hygiene routine. Well, firstly, have you checked your upper lip?
Oh my God.
All right, the joke is out of the way.
Are you the problem? Let's make sure.
So, the thing is, like, I am deathly afraid of being the fat guy that smells.
Yeah.
Or just the big guy that smells. Depends on your definition of fat. But either way, the stinky big guy, right? Deathly afraid of it. Sometimes I catch a whiff of my own sweat, and then I'm putting deodorant on my entire body, and I'm sticky after work.
Ew.
But I don't stink. Like, if you were to say that to me one time, it would never be a problem again. Guaranteed. Yeah. So the fact that he's had to say it multiple times... Because, like, let's be honest, he even said she doesn't stink for the most part and showers every 2 to 3 days. Pitch the idea of wipes, dude.
Get a bidet.
Get a bidet. Dude, bidets are wonderful.
Done. Solved.
I've only ever seen them in pictures, but, man, the idea sounds so great.
Yep. A bidet would solve all your problems.
It would. It might actually increase the amount of time she spends in between showers, but
yeah,
who cares? I think
at
it
least
would help.
down there is fucking clean.
I would say get a bidet. I mean, and the cool thing is, the best part about that post is he's like, I put up with the butt smell because
for 12
I love
years.
10. A decade. A decade of that smell.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. He really loves that girl.
Yeah.
I almost said a bad word. Bidet.
Bidet.
A bidet would fix your problem. It really would. And to answer his other question, no, it's not normal for that. It's not. Maybe change your dietary habits. I don't know. But for the most part, nope. Wide open ass is not common.
I don't know. It depends. Like, maybe she's like triple cheeked up.
You know,
like, I was like thinking originally of like a very like scrawny person. But like, she could be cheeked.
Could be.
And like, maybe it's just like,
yeah,
you gotta air it out.
Which, again, a bidet would help. I don't know if it would completely solve it.
Right.
Or waxing. I learned a few years ago that hairs can hold in body odors.
Yeah.
So if it's never been a thing that you've done, that could help.
Right.
But then it comes with other issues, like, for instance, your cheeks will constantly be sweaty because there's no hair to catch it, which is equally uncomfortable. Might even hurt the problem.
The other solution is just don't hit it from the back.
Yeah, don't hit it from the back, dude. Just
strictly missionary.
Missionary.
We're talking missionary.
Yep.
We're talking missionary.
Yo.
We're talking when I'm on top and she's on her back.
Is it she's on her back?
Yep.
Oh. Oh, cool. You can also soak. Hire someone to jump on the bed for you.
Just not from the back.
Not from the back. Don't soak from the back, dude.
Only do it from like the side, anything from the back, make sure that you're not upwind.
Yep.
Like, you just don't want to be right over it.
Uh-huh. Lean forward a little, lean back a
Yeah. Get
Something.
out of the, like, line of fire.
little. Yeah, just dodge it a little.
If the bidet isn't an option, which it should be, I'm pretty sure you can hook it up to any toilet.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure.
Like I said, I've never owned one. I've just used like wipes or extra showers or
Right.
something. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it
You
was
gotta
fun.
wash your ass.
You gotta wash your ass. You gotta brush your teeth.
I do.
You
I'm
do.
tired.
It's bedtime.
I'm ready for bed.
Yep.
Well, thank you for doing this with me,
Yeah.
Jerry.
No problem. I said I would.
This is fun.
Yeah, it was. We should.
I feel like we should do reactions to like Love is Blind or The Bachelor or something.
Well, we've already
I
all
think that would
seen
be-
Love is Blind. I think we have
well,
second
there
chances
might be
though.
a new one. Yeah.
There's Love is Blind second chances.
We still have maths.
Dude,
We
you
might not.
know who I do hope gets a second chance?
Who?
Mark. Mark and Lindsay.
Oh,
Did they break
yeah.
up?
Mark the Shark.
Mark the Shark. Like, he had his own slew of issues, but I think he was done just a little dirty. Just a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we should do a react video. See how it does.
Or you mean like a podcast? Like we watch the episode and then,
Yeah, and like, you know how we're always talking? Like, we're always pausing and talking over it.
right. It would be kind of cool to record our opinions as we go and how they
Yes.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
That'd
might
be
be kind
fun.
of fun.
Anyway.
Also, I have never seen any season of The Bachelor except for the one where that bitch got sprayed in the face with the champagne bottle.
That's so funny.
That was hilarious.
I love that part.
You know,
The irony of it happening right after that whole blow up. Oh my God. It is, that was prime drama television.
I feel for
Prime.
her, the secondhand embarrassment, but she was being a bit of a.
I love being on
what would you call that?
the
She's
watching
not-
end of that situation.
she's I don't know, just generally immature
Yeah.
a little bit.
She had room to grow.
Yeah, she had room to grow, and God gave her a very nice reminder on public television.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
Fuck.
dude, respect to that guy for not completely losing it in that moment. I think he also felt embarrassment for her because he knew it was live TV, and
Yeah.
after she made a big ordeal about the champagne bottle and the. See, that's where I feel for her because she was like, I had this special champagne bottle. Bro, why are you saving a special champagne bottle like
Right.
that? It's champagne. Just go buy
Why
another
not
one.
hold it with you? Why did you set it
Sure.
up to make it look like every other champagne bottle?
Sure.
We're not doing this on this episode.
No. But again, like, if you really were dead set on doing that, why did you put it out? Keep it with you, dog.
Keep it with you.
There's a few things adding up to
Leave
or
it
leading
in
up to
a
the situation.
bag.
Yeah.
Bring
Sure.
it in like a little.
Like, I definitely get why
gift
she was upset
bag.
about it. How she went about the upset, room for improvement. But, like,
Should have thought ahead.
I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty funny watching her get blasted with it.
It was.
And then the crying afterwards, I would have
It
cried
was
too.
hilarious.
I definitely empathize, but boy, was that funny.
I ain't no classy bitch.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. And then she takes one in the face. So funny.
So funny.
So funny.
She definitely did the whole thing too.
It was funnier than watching that chick on The Amazing Race get pelted with the watermelon
Yeah.
because that was a freak accident, and you're like, oh, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, this one, it just hurt her ego.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just ego.
Oh, right. Anyways, yes, I agree. We should cut the podcast off.
All right. Well, thanks for being here, Derek.
Yeah. How long is the podcast?
An hour and 10 minutes right now.
Hopefully you don't have a lot of editing to do.
Hopefully not. I'm tired.
All right. Well, good night, Derry.
Good night, dearie. Till next time.
Until next time.
Mental Odyssey is a Dream and Do podcast, produced and edited by yours truly. The music is owned by Chill Hop, and this song is Velocities by Sleepy Fish. Go check them out. Thanks for being here.